Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and Infinity Wards are at it again, with many noticing that the maps in this game don't just have 5 rotations, as might be expected, but more like have 6, 7, or even 8, potentially more as well. Pros giving their thoughts to this, why are Infinity Ward even doing this, and Scump also getting ready for what may well be the snaking meta this season, getting used to that Cellium movement already. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Plenty to discuss. Firstly, wanted to mention some Rostermania stuff because we are expecting it more than likely this coming week, with the beta now kind of over for the first weekends, to have, well, a fair few announcements you would expect, because teams that know what they're doing, we believe. Vegas is kind of the question mark right now as to what they have as their roster of 4. We think we know the others, as we've discussed over the last few days. But iLLeY & Co, also with Prolute, they were playing a fair few. Charles, Black Ops 4, Cold War, whatever the guys have been playing. Kind of a shame that the pros didn't figure out, maybe they'll try it in week 2, because I think in previous betas, if you get like a lobby of 6 together and try and search for a search and destroy game, you might find another lobby of 6, at which point you can effectively play a custom game search and destroy chal, which has, I believe, been done in the past. Not sure they're going to do that this year, or whether they're going to try it next weekend with a PC beta, because right now a lot of the chals have been going down on previous year's games. Prolute, of course, has been involved in a fair few of them. Now, we believe Prolute may be the SMG option alongside TJ for the Vegas Legion. I believe they were making a decision between Venom and Prolute as their SMG player. Of course, Prolute was the flex player for OpTic last year when iLLeY had to sub out of the team, and that entire camp, of course, spoke very highly of Prolute and what he can bring to rosters. But I think generally he's been an SMG player, like back in, I think, Cold War, Champs or whatever. Like, I think he was an SMG for that roster. So, yeah, maybe that's the play that they go going forwards. Not sure it's the best option for Vegas, but it's certainly a very solid option. Clay, Temp, TJ, and Prolute could be the roster of 4. Venom was the other option, as we said. We don't know if Clay's going to be there. It's pretty sure at this point. I believe even Temp did a video he's playing with TJ and Prolute, so that might give more credence to that idea. Whether Clay is their AR, maybe there's another AR in consideration, who knows? Hopefully it's Clayser though. We would probably expect most teams to announce what they're doing it before Vegas gets anywhere near close, to be honest. Now, one positive thing to say briefly. Now, in fairness, this shouldn't even be a thing to say. Like, it's actually kind of remarkable that this is even considered a positive. But, well, as Exclusive Ace does some testing on whether Bloom is a thing in this game. Now, he hasn't been able to test every weapon, of course, but back in Vanguard, that was the key discussion, where if you were using especially the SMGs like the MP40 or something, your bullets would not always go where you shot them. There was eventually just a random accuracy component where your bullets could just not go where you shot at them. So long ranges, like you really couldn't take too many chals, because it doesn't really matter where you're aiming, the bullets can just decide to do their own thing. Now, apparently that ADS spread mechanic is gone from this game, which, like, as I say, it shouldn't even be a positive. It should never have been in the previous game. This should never even be a thing that we're celebrating Infinity Ward for getting rid of, but nonetheless, Bloom does appear to be gone based on the initial testing that has been done. Now, of course, look, we know how Infinity Ward make their design decisions. It's not exactly a massive surprise the way this game has been designed. There's some positive features, but there's some other features that, of course, are very frustrating. The lack of the red dots on the minimap. Actually, Swag explains why Joe Seacott back in 2019, when they removed it initially, what he told them about why there are no red dots on the map, and he said, yeah, look, that is intended, and it's so that some players don't get hunted, and to make UAVs more of a reward. So, like, it's very clear the intention of Infinity Ward, right? They want to cater to Timmy, they want to cater to Plumber, you know, Plumber Dave, sitting up in his building, he's mounted his AR, like, they don't want him to get surprised by someone walking up on them, so they make the footsteps really loud. They don't want him to get spotted out on the minimap while shooting, so they get rid of the red dots on the minimap. It is just frustrating for, I'm sure, a lot of us who really enjoy playing the fast-paced, action-packed arena shooter that Call of Duty was, you know, so much better than every other game at. And now Call of Duty is so, like, intent, it seems, on becoming this, like, tactical FPS, where there's so many good tactical FPSs. You can play Counter-Strike, you can play Rainbow Six. Like, I don't want COD to be another slow-paced tactical FPS. Like, I think it's designed to be an arena shooter. That's where it's been at its best. So, frustrating, really, to see the design decisions, like, get taken in this direction, in fairness. Even this is another good example of it, right here, about the Ghost perk, right, as, well, Seacott tweeted that back in 2017. So, look, it is what it is. That's how Infinity Ward want to design their games. But I wish they would at least have some consideration for the competitive side. It's not just the competitive side, because I've seen a lot of posts on the casual subreddit. Now, in fairness, the casual subreddit, like, the people who post on there are probably the top 10% of the most, like, engaged casual players, right? Like, as I say, Plumber Dave, he's not going to be loading up to Reddit and actually commenting his opinion, but there's been a lot of people on those Reddits that have said, look, dead silence, that's a key problem and concern for many of these players, and the red dots on the minimap map, the key complaints of the more casual players right now align pretty much entirely with the key complaints of the competitive Call of Duty community, let's say, which is hopefully a good sign. With it, Infinity Ward take any criticism on board for the second weekend of the beta, but honestly, if they don't put red dots on the minimap or at least try it, they're practically admitting they're not interested in taking feedback, because it's the #1 complaint of pretty much everyone that I've seen on any of these threads right now. Now, of course, there are more specific complaints from the competitive scene, some of them revolving around this. So these are the hardpoint rotations for the 4 beta maps. This can be found over on the COD website. You can go onto the website and look under guides, and you can look under the maps, and you can see right here, this for example is Museum. You can see the search and destroy bomb site locations. I'm not going to share all of them for all the maps in the beta because they could change, and also there's not really much to talk about there. They're just where the bomb sites are. But you can see here, this is what it looks like on Museum. This is defense, this is offense. So A would be easier to defend, B would be a little bit more hotly contested. Might even give, honestly, like, it seems a bit of a strange bomb location here at B, because you might give offense an advantage, because it does seem kind of difficult to defend. I guess you can defend from mid or something. But anyway, you guys can see right here what the domination flags look like, and also what the hardpoint rotations look like. And this is a rather interesting feature. So, okay, fair play on Museum. You've got 5 hardpoints, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty decent, it seems, set of rotations. Makes a fair bit of sense. The other maps, not quite so true. So as we saw there, that's the Museum map, the 5 hardpoints as we just saw. Now let's start from Farm 18. We have, for some reason, this is a pretty small map. We have 8 hardpoints on this map. Now this aligns rather well with exactly what happened back in Modern Warfare 2019, and I thought they learned their lesson, but seemingly not. Now, of course, look, over time they might cut this down to 5 if the pros give their feedback. That's kind of what they did in Modern Warfare, but apparently in Modern Warfare 2019, apart from the maps that the pros played and wanted only 5 hardpoints on, of course, as it should be, the other maps stayed from 10 all the way up to potentially 20 plus hardpoints. We'll see that in a second, because the pros were absolutely mind-blown when they turned up to the Modern Warfare 2019 playtest playing Grasner Raid and found that there were 20-something hardpoints on the map. I don't understand why they do this, and also it makes me wonder, like, do the developers actually watch any competitive COD? Have they, like, ever watched a competitive hardpoint match, or even, like, plays hardpoint in previous games where 4 or 5 hardpoints is the standard, and for good reason? Like, I mean, some of the hardpoint, like, you have to choose sensible locations for the hardpoints to be that actually make sense with the flow of the rotation. Having 8 hardpoints is just all over the place, to be honest. You're not going to find great locations, and the rotations aren't going to be smooth, and it also just means that, I don't know why they do this. I think the intention might be for more casual players, so that they don't get caught off guard or something, because it makes the rotations harder to learn. I don't really understand. Like, to be honest, I don't get the philosophy behind it. But anyway, this is Farm 18. This is Mikado. This is hilarious to me, because 2 and 6 are literally in the same building. Number 2 is bottom building. Number 6 is top building. This is exactly what they did back in Modern Warfare 2019. This has got 7 hardpoints on it. Then they've got the hotel map, which only has 6. But like, still, I mean, why is there 6? I don't understand why they insist on doing this. I'm hoping at least the pros will give them some insight on what maybe to do better and actually cut these down to 5 if some of them are viable, because the hotel map could be, to be honest, looking at some of the way it plays. And that's the thing, Slash is laughing about this and saying, hang on a second, 8 hardpoints, what is going on here? Did they lose my number or something? I would have fixed it for them again. This is what happened with Slasher and Co. back at that original playtest 3 years ago when they went onto Grasner Raid, and this was the beauty of Grasner Raid hardpoint when the game initially came out, where the pros spawned up here and expected 5 hardpoints, right, as you might expect. They went to P1, it makes sense, middle of the map, went to P2 over down here, then went to P3, P4, P5, and I'm sure they expected to go back to P1. That's not what happens. They went back to P6, then to P7. Like, what is this, right? You've got bottom and top building 4 and 6, bottom and top building 5 and 7. You've just got to run across the map 4 times in 3 minutes, and then it goes all the way up to 20 hardpoints. Like, what is going through their mind, right? And I thought maybe they'd got over this, and obviously they'd never watched hardpoint in their life, and they were like, this is how it should be, and then they'd obviously realize now what to do properly, and still they're putting 8 hardpoints on the map. I just don't get it. And that's the thing, really. I think they changed, you know, Gunrunner and Ramaza and Hackney Yard and these maps that were played for hardpoints just to having 5, but then maps like Backlot, which they added later on in the title, still had 13. This is a Modern Warfare original, like 2007 COD 4 map, but it was brought back in Modern Warfare 2019. You can see they've got 13 hardpoints still. It's like, this seemingly is the philosophy they want to go for, and I just don't understand it, to be honest. So, I mean, look, who knows, but a lot of those maps back in the original Modern Warfare had a load of hardpoints, and in this game, a lot of the beta maps already have pushing 8 hardpoints. So, look, I guess the pros will playtest them and give them some feedback and some ideas, but these maps are going to be practically unplayable if they launch, and the vast majority of maps have like 8 plus hardpoints, right? And these are relatively small maps, right? So I simply don't understand what they are thinking, to be perfectly honest with you. But I mean, yeah, definitely tweet your thoughts in the comment section. Like, will they figure this out? I mean, yes, there are 5, 6 hardpoints on some of them, but Farm has 8. I just don't really get it. Like, the official rotations are as they are presently, but, you know, Slasher and the like is like, well, hang on a second, lads, what exactly is going on here? Now, the other discussion that's going on right now, of course, is with regard to movements and what it might look like going forwards. We found out pretty much day one of the beta that snaking is rather strong in this title. And I mean, yeah, if you're behind a head glitch and you decide to crouch, just about go prone, then sprint forward and stand up again, you are a rather difficult target to hit. Very kind of reminiscent, really, of Infinite Warfare, another Infinity War title where snaking was pretty much at an all-time high. Now, of course, Slasher nowadays is going to say, yeah, we good, honestly, guys. Don't worry about it too much because he's got Cellium on his team, the master of the snaking mechanic. But honestly, everyone can kind of do it. We saw back in Stage 1 playoffs of Infinite Warfare, pretty much it was the king of the snakes, right? And Splice were the best team at snaking, arguably, that event, and that's arguably why they, well, had the advantage in that entire tournament. But Scump is getting ready for it, right? He's already, like, looking for certain spots on certain maps where snaking might well be viable. And, I mean, yeah, hopefully this doesn't completely ruin the gameplay experience, but it could well do.
Oh, wait, we got a cap B or the game's gonna end. You can do it too.
The best spot, Holly. If they spawn there, they just run out on you over and over.
Snaked.
You there?
You can do it too. You can do it too, folks. Trust me. All day long, right here. You can do it too, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now.
They should come out on you now.
So, of course, there was all the drama about this largely last season. At times, I thought it was pretty funny between Simp and Slasher, now teammates, right? When Slasher was obviously pretty frustrated about some of the antics of Cellium. Now, a lot of the pro players would kind of like snaking to be gone. They would like it really not to be an abusable mechanic because, I mean, yeah, when it is, you just get the snake wars where someone's on a head glitch and they're going up and down and they're really difficult to kill, as you saw there with Scump. Like, I'm sure the guys who were shooting at him could barely see him because it kind of breaks the cameras in a sense, where by the time you've popped up again, they don't see you for another fraction of a second, which gives you enough time to kill them, especially with the time to kill in this game. So it's pretty brutal, the snaking, to be honest. Of course, it's been around COD for quite some time, but in this game, it seems that maybe worse than usual, one could argue. And that does raise a question as to what the game is going to play like, because yes, guys like Cellium are going to use it on occasion. It is kind of soft GA'd usually. The teams kind of decide between them, look, let's probably not use snaking. It makes the game worse. But it's really difficult to GA because what if Scump wanted to reload, crouch down, reload, then stand up again? Then, like, you know, of course, in that situation, he's not really snaking, he's just using the cover. But it can be rather difficult to say where you draw the line in that case, and therefore it's difficult for the pros really to say, yeah, you know, don't use this mechanic, because then one player uses it like that, they reload, they stand up again, and then all of a sudden the other team's like, oh, that guy snaked me, now I'm going to completely abuse it, like Scump was abusing it, right? So, look, we shall see. In the previous couple of years, it's obviously been a topic of discussion, but it's not been an absolute major one that every player is abusing like it was back in Infinite Warfare. Maybe this year, with the way that it seems to be behaving at the present time, it might well have, well, more of a place in the meta. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, tells the YouTube god this is a good video, others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I'll see you next time.